Israel. Let's go live to the Environment and Energy Minister now. Lots to discuss with him. We'll start with the National Energy Guarantee. That's the big issue for you at the moment, Josh Frydenberg. And you want to get agreement with the states and territories in the next couple of months. It's difficult, though, when you've got a handful of your own MPs being renegades on the matter.
Well, I wouldn't call them that. I'd say that my colleagues just want to make sure that the right policy is there for the country's energy future, and that is the National Energy Guarantee. So there is strong support within the coalition party room for the National Energy Guarantee, because they understand that we need to integrate energy and climate policy and bring down prices and increase reliability. We've listened to the experts. We've taken this proposal to the states. We'll look for final sign-off in August. But importantly, under the National Energy Guarantee, the average Australian household will be $300 a year better off than they would be under Labor's plan, and we won't see a repeat nationally of the big experiment gone wrong in South Australia, where they had a blackout, where they had an unreliable energy system because they mismanaged the
But you say they're not renegades, but Tony Abbott, Eric Abetz, George Christensen, Andrew Gee, Craig Kelly all spoke out against the National Energy Guarantee yesterday in the coalition party room. So you want to convince our viewers, but you haven't convinced your own colleagues in their entirety.
Well, we have convinced industry and the big employers across the country who have seen in the past rising energy bills, particularly when Labor was last in office, and are now looking for more stability and an investment framework for the system going forward. So we'll continue to work through the detail. Final discussion papers will be released ahead of the meeting in August. But everyone recognises that the National Energy Guarantee is a critical piece of the jigsaw, and we do need to ensure that the transition is managed well, given how significant the transition is. So I think we're on the right track, and I'm certainly confident that my colleagues believe so too.
It's a diabolical area, though, because whenever you look like you're close to getting some sort of consensus, this division erupts. And Tony Abbott in the Daily Telegraph today, very critical of, and I'll read you the quote, he says, "I'm sick and tired of government ministers running around the place saying that anyone who disagrees with them on energy policy is trying to wreck the government." What do you say to that?
Well, that's not what ministers are saying. In fact, they're saying that we do need to work through the detail, but that the National Energy Guarantee is critical to Australia's long-term national interest. And you have to understand that companies like BlueScope and BHP and those that run the Tomago aluminium smelter, the irrigators, the farmers, the BCA, the Australian Industry Group, representing millions of workers across the country, see the National Energy Guarantee as an important part of the solution. We've already started to see prices come down. Wholesale prices are down around 30% compared to the same period last year, and the big three have just reduced their prices across New South Wales, Queensland and South Australia. That's a direct contrast to what we saw under the Labor government when prices went up each and every year. So we're moving in the right direction. The system is changing, and the National Energy Guarantee is part of our way of going forward.
Is it credible for the former Prime Minister to who signed up to the Paris Agreement, who committed Australia to being part of that accord, that he's now blaming the bureaucrats that advised him at that time? Is that credible?
Well, I think what is important to understand is when the Abbott government entered into the Paris Agreement, we committed to a 26 to 28% reduction, and Tony himself said then it was a definite commitment. I am trying to solve for that task, not only to deliver cheaper, more reliable power, but also one that stays true to our international commitments. And Australia has a good record.
But he now says it was an aspiration.
Its emission reduction commitments. Well, Tony Abbott made it very clear it's a definite commitment, We see it as a commitment. We will meet that commitment, just as Australian governments in the past have met our previous commitments.
If you didn't, what would be the impact internationally?
Well, we will. We're overachieving on our 2020 target by over 294 million tonnes. Emissions on a per capita and GDP basis, Keiran, are now their lowest in 28 years. And as you know, we've seen a massive investment in renewables and we've seen an increase in the technology and innovation in that sector. This is all occurring on the watch of the Turnbull government, and at the same time prices have turned the corner. The worst is behind us and we're now seeing prices come down. We're on the right track. The National Energy Guarantee is an important piece of the jigsaw, but it also underlines for the last 15 years no government has been able to integrate energy and climate policy because there are lots of views on the extremes of this debate. You'll never please the Australian Conservation Foundation and Get Up and the Greens when it comes to emissions reduction. And then there are others who don't think Australia should be part of Paris. We do believe that we have firm emission reduction commitments. We'll meet them, at the same time deliver more affordable and reliable energy.
Environment Minister Josh Frydenberg, thanks so much. We'll have to end it there. The audio is just breaking up a little bit of our chat, but we got through most of it there live from Queanbeyan Woolworths, where Mr Frydenberg's joined Woolworths in announcing the end to plastic bags. The disposable plastic bags will end as of today when it comes to Woolies.
Yeah, and